Okay, this is my oil pump. I'm getting ready to put in my motor, the new one. The old one had almost 1 million miles on it. And some of the guys on the forum said if you take some dimes and you put them in the back end of the spring, which I've dropped one of them, put them in the back end of the spring of the pump, it'll increase the pressure of the pump. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. You increase the pressure of an oil pump, I'm under the assumption that it would definitely shorten its lifespan, because now it has to work hard for another 1 million miles. Okay, how much pressure do we add? And secondly, I don't know about anybody else, but my truck, when it idles, you know, after the engine's all warmed up, I mean, when you first crank it, the oil pressure is full pressure, 40 pounds. After it's all warmed up and everything, it's like 18, 20 pounds. So if I modify the pressure regulator in the pump, I don't care how much you modify it, it's not going to go up if it's not supplying enough flow to make 40 psi. So I don't see where idling the truck, this would be any benefit to the truck idling long term. Going down the road, it may have a benefit, because I've had a few guys say that they've done this trick and it significantly increases the oil flow that they see in the top of the head. My own engine, it wore out, you know, at 955,000 miles. The head had wore out. The engine didn't wear out. The piston liners, all that was great. The head is what wore. Okay, and I've got good clean oil, and I've got, you know, I didn't do, you know, anything to create excess wear. So I'm going to try this trick on my own truck. I don't recommend anybody else do it, because I don't know the results, especially long term. But I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to see what happens. So this is my oil pump. Here's how I'm going to do it. Some of the guys asked me, you know, to show how I'm going to do it, and here's basically what needs to happen according to them. This is the pressure regulator here inside this chamber along this shaft, and there's a big long spring about right here. There's a plunger right here. The spring's right here. The plunger's right here, and then there's a top piece, which is the valve that opens and closes. The only way to get this spring force increased is to put something in the bottom to push this way on the spring for it to still operate correctly and open all the way. So they say that dimes will fit down in the hole on the bottom, and I've got a 1/2 inch worth of dimes. They say between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch worth of something. I'm going to be conservative and use a 1/2 inch, and they're going to go right here inside this thing, inside this chamber at the very bottom. So I got to get all these guts out and drop these in. So that's what I'm going to do. And first thing I got to do is get this what do they call these things, Carter key?
Cotter pin.
Carter pin. I'm going to get this Carter pin off of here. I'm going to try to be gentle. It's a brand new pump. And I would think that I'm probably voiding the warranty on this thing. What do you think?
Probably so.
Probably so. So I'm going to be real careful about this and try not to tear it up, so I don't have to buy a second one, huh? I'm going to try to be real cautious about this thing. Need a pair of pliers. That pin nice and straight. And you say you've taken the other one apart a couple times and you used this and this hook like this?
Yes.
Okay, and that'll probably come shooting out of there, so I would I'd be cautious. Oh yeah, it does come out quite easily. I'm going to push down and relieve the pressure off of it. Now, before I do that though, I'm going to take this screwdriver and I'm going to put a little scratch on it. Like this. Just a tiny little scratch. Because I want to know which way that thing went. Press down. Oh yeah, it takes a little bit of force, but it's not horrible. I'm going to pull this pin out like this. There you go. I'm going to relieve this pressure. And get a really nice clean paper towel. Lay these parts on so they don't get dirt on them. I'm going to take this off. I take the plunger out. And the plunger goes where the hole is, the spring fits inside the hole. So, and I got a spring down in there, so I'm going to grab this spring with a, make sure these are really clean. Spring with a pair of pliers. Come on. Can I get it? Can't quite reach it. Oh, there it is. There it is. And down on the very bottom of the hole, I don't know if you can kind of see that. Way down in the bottom. I'm going to take all these dimes and I'm just going to drop them in there. And then I'm going to make sure they went all the way to the bottom. Yep, they did. And I'm going to take the spring, drop it off in there, let it bounce up and down a couple times, which means, you know, it helped make sure they were down. The spring has to go inside here, so when you first put this in, it wants to sit up there, so you got to kind of work it, and it'll drop into this. The spring will drop into the middle of it. Put that in, and I'm going to put my top back on. Supposedly, according to the guys on the forum that have done this, supposedly that'll make it about 45 to 46 psi instead of 40, which isn't a whole lot. You would think a ½ inch would really create a difference, but that spring is not real strong, and that's probably why. So now I'm going to take this thing and put it back together into this thing here. Push it down in there. Line it up. Make sure I don't mess up that O-ring. Need a little Vaseline or something. It's a little dry. Brand new pump. Cut. Alright, I got a little Vaseline, petroleum jelly. Put that back on the seal. This thing's dry, it doesn't want to go in the hole real well. A little bit of something to assemble it. There we go. Hold that in. Put my key back in. Now I'm going to reorient myself. I'm holding it with the key. There we go. There we go. Put it all the way in. There we go. And then I'll very gently work this thing back around the way it was. And make sure that it doesn't break or get weak. If I feel it's getting weak, we'll replace it. So far, so good.